Hi guys, 4.0 back on track. We're in Singapore today meeting unique character, Calvin Bow. It's an individual performer with over 30 years of experience in the technical ultra-luxury industrial Internet of Things market. By ultra-luxury, I mean he was top salesman for the big major companies luxury. So right now he's in Belden. It's a 120 years young company that is perceived as the blood and veins and nerves carrying crucial data for the industrial 4.0 application. Calvin is very passionate and has deep expertise in cybersecurity. Even he was doing sales before. Right now, his background, I would say, is he has strong background in leadership, negotiation, business-to-business strategic planning, relationship management. He specialized in the business development across Asia Pacific region. He has extensive expertise with selling solutions to major corporations, top professionals, energy, mass transit, intelligent traffic system, CPG, process automation, automotive. So welcome Kevin Bow, deep expertise. Feel free to reach out to him. He is one of the best guys to talk about cybersecurity, security, automation, and so on.
We appreciate you spending the time on a beautiful Saturday in Singapore. It's February 11, 2023. Angela and I have been traveling around the world, interview experts like yourself. So we're very privileged spending time with you today. So what is your anticipation with the Industry 4.0 that could impact the world?
So I think thanks for coming to Singapore. Welcome to Singapore. Yeah. So I did some preparations. I guess I will just try to recall in front of the camera. So the anticipation, I have good and bad to say. Good is manufacturing is going to benefit from the efficiency, improvement in everything they do. The bad is that older workers will have a hard time catching up. So therefore, human capital training, as our earlier conversation has mentioned, there's a lot of human capital issues, geopolitical issues that is going to be addressed, but that is going to take time. So I took reference from the Singapore Business Federations. They used to run a very successful program called the Industry 4.0 Human Capital Initiative. But unfortunately, that program is going to end in March this year. So that's, to me, something sad. Yeah. I've been promoting them a lot on LinkedIn. I do hope that there's another agency that can pick it up again. Those collaborations touch a lot on human capital. And that's what I felt is going to impact the world, good and bad.
Great. So connectivity is critical for Industry 4.0. Would you share with us, what do you see the future of connectivity?
Well, I started off the conversation with you guys earlier about satellite. Yeah. And I didn't prepare this script after that, but satellite that currently is kind of challenging. For example, I'm going to be sailing to a remote island this coming March. Yeah. And I can't do what I used to do at home. There's no broadband, right? There's no broadband. I can't work, I can't access to email, I can not talk on WhatsApp, on Instagram. Yeah. And at most, it's just one text message on SMS. And they're predominantly used for rescue, right? Hey, help, mayday, mayday. So I would think that it's going to be critical. The future of connectivity is not just on wired, but also on wireless and on satellite. So I hope one day in the plane, in my yacht, on my sailboat, I'm still able to work. For people who are looking at circumnavigation, round the world travel, they must be able to have access to data. That's what I think about connectivity in the future.
Awesome.
Right. Yeah.
So as you just mentioned, we want to have the connected physical assets. For example, when you're sailing the boat, it's connected to the earth and to your family. But how would you see the data management going to be look like in a smart factory?
Well, in a factory, there is always two networks, right? The information technology network and the operation technology network. So a lot of people start to use this term called IT-OT convergence.
Yeah.
So these two networks has to be properly managed. Making a wrong decision, it's going to cause the company to suffer in already a challenging environment of rising costs. So data management has to involve security. It cannot be silo, and the IT people will need a skill set to understand what OT actually means. I have firsthand seen a brand new factory in stock here in Singapore facing a huge hurdle to clear right now. It's brand new, but yet it's vulnerable in the OT space. So it actually confirms my worry in the early stage when I first engaged the customer. And now it's confirmed. The report came, and we saw that the entire operation technology, it's not protected. Anyone that came in to troubleshoot their own machine, if their laptops, their computers has ransomware, malware, it's going to infect every machines in the shop floor. And we don't want to see that. So in the midst of doing Industrial Revolution 4.0, which means we are making silo machines that used to work 30 years, 40 years without problem. By connecting them, talking to their neighbors and their neighbors and their neighbors, and putting the whole connected factory, connected processes, connected traffic light, anything that is connected. And once you pass it on above, now usually the IT has got a very robust way of protecting their network. What they didn't understand was the OT, which produces most of the income, their salaries, those are not protected. So according to IEC 62443, some of these tips that we picked up from the report, it says you should not be connecting a flat layer 2 network for the OT space. But how many people actually understand that term, right?
Yeah.
And then the VLANs, we call it virtual local network, right? And these people has got like putting all 4,000 devices to the max on one road, right? And the IT from the internet, the attack, cyber attack is not going to come from IT because those places are fully secure. What is going to be vulnerable is, imagine 4,000 over devices at the ground, at a shop floor, connected to a virus-infected laptop. No intention to harm, but it's just brought into the factory to do troubleshooting for their own machine. But the moment it's plugged into the network, it's finished, right? Everything on the shop floor will be infected. So we call that internal attack, not external attack. So I guess from this current experience, we're going to propagate the same report to tell our end customer, hey, please let us take a look at your network. We just want to clear. And my mantra, in working in the Industrial 4.0, is good to go. If a network is not good to go, it's not good to go.
Yeah.
It only confirms that right now, the report, my team of engineers who went in, did the search, did the exploratory, and only to confirm, yes, it is not good to go now. So we need to do remedy, we need to do corrective actions, and then just a certain, not forgetting, sustainability. Every 6 months, we should do another scan, right? It's pretty much like a human being that needs to do regular medical checkup. That's, well, it's a bit lengthy, but I hope
No, it's great because it brings up the hope and the threat at the same time. But most importantly, as you know, the data has to be transmitted, and then the data transmission become a most critical part of this networking effect.
Yeah.
Have you seen any progress being made in the past 2-3 years in terms of data transmission?
Yes. I was a bit surprised to hear that there are still many companies that have never heard about Industrial Revolution 4.0, but to those companies that I have been working with, the big brands, they are actually very in touch with it. What I feel is they thought it's a one-off project. The Industry 4.0 is never a one-off project.
Yeah.
How long does Industry 3.0 last, right?
70 years?
70 years. That's how long an Industry 4.0 project should be. It should be a continuous improvement project in terms of security, efficiency, human capital, solving day-to-day problem, right? With the consumers, with the business, with the enterprise. It's an ongoing process, not a one-off. So I hope that the stakeholders, right? The CEOs, the CFOs, investors will understand, hey, improvement is never ending.
Yeah.
Right? I came from General Motors. For the last 40 years, this company has continuously improved itself here in Singapore. It has changed name, the company has changed name, but the processes inside has never stopped improving. That's how far we should continue with that kind of connectivity. Yeah, the improvement part.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the progress.
As you know, this world will only get more challenging. So what do you think the best skill sets that need to be prepared for such a major revolution?
We spoke before this interview about human capital, the youngsters. How are we going to make this trade more sexy, more attractive?
Yeah.
That will be the big challenge, right? In order to attract the youngsters to understand, hey, there is something very attractive here. The very cola you drink, the very tea, the very Starbucks, beverages that you're drinking, the cars that you're driving, the EVs, and next time the hydrogen cars. These are all sexy stuff, right? Talk about tech, right? And moving all this into even the metaverse, digital twin, it's going to be very interesting, right? They're going to convert laymen, people like our forefathers working in a factory. They are 50 this year, they're 60 this year. We can convert them into avatars, put them into metaverse and start improving and understand the processes that they are doing and contribute towards the success and improvement of what they are doing in the factory. That, I would think, is going to be helpful for the next generation who understand, that's the challenge that we're going to overcome, and we shall overcome that. Yeah.
Great. Being a forefront at the Industrial Revolution, you've seen a lot of successful cases. Can you share a few examples for people relate to see a beautiful future that ahead of them?
Well, success, I would say, is small successes, and it has to be a progressive success.
Yeah.
We measure and we celebrate the small success, right?
Absolutely.
So there's no need to say that, hey, I have a major success of savings, of efficiencies. All this will take time to come in. We are looking at about 2 years to 3 years after the investment. I put a ballpark. If you put in $100,000 for improvement, you should bring back about $1 million.
Nice.
Right?
That's a great ROI.
At the end of, ROI within 2 to 3 years, right? Or even further, depending on how available are the data, how are we going to use the data scientists to sift out the right data. And those ROI will come back over time, right? And depending also the maturity of the factory or the processes, we go into the assessment of if they are laggard. So $100,000 investment is not going to bring back $1 million.
Yeah.
Right? If they are medium maturity in terms of sensorization, data, infrastructure, then maybe $100,000 will bring them back $500,000 in return. Of course, the advanced guys, then they will have their return very quickly.
Yeah.
Right? They will be investing into data analytics. They'll be looking at AI. They're looking at something that's very different, and they're going to respond to customers' needs more quickly than everyone else. So yes, we have to just understand the factory itself, what is the current status, before we can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lifelong learning will be the name of the game.
Yeah.
How would you recommend a younger generation, say your kids' generation, to create a habit of lifelong learning?
Well, we have no choice, right? I like to use this Chinese idiom that I learned. We are situated in a fast-running canal, river. You cannot stay still. You can't. You have to pedal, like mad. It's called 不进则退. If you don't move forward, you're going backward.
Falling behind.
So, excuse me. Technology is the river.
Keep coming.
It keeps coming. And it's going to swell.
Yeah.
It's not just quiet water.
And become a swami.
It's a tsunami that's going to come. So we have to just respond, right? Today we pedal with a pedal. Next day we use an electric motor. The next time we use an EV motors, and then we use a jet engine. We have got to go against the knowledge that's coming in to absorb, right? So 活到老,学到老. It's you turn old, but you never stop learning. Yeah, that's what I feel.
Great advice. Well, thank you so much, Calvin.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate the wisdom.
Thank you very much.
And as always, we look forward to learning with you and grow with you. Hopefully, we come back with you interview again in another year also.
Together with my team of experts.
Yeah. Excited.
Thank you very much. I'll see you guys again.
Sure.
And again, thank you for coming to Singapore.